Hey, gang. It's another live stream, my Thursday at 3 o'clock. And I said on Monday that I wasn't sure if I was going to do this one or not, but I decided I better do it. I know that people like this one, especially friends that are in Europe and Australia and various places. There's Jerry. Glad you're here, Jerry. And we're having ongoing issues, Jerry, with your videos for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Hey, Jeffrey. But Jerry had sent me some videos, and I've tried to use the app to download those videos so that I can edit them, but it's not working. So Jerry, we may have to get together on this again. Maybe you'll just have to try to email individual picture or videos to me, one at a time or something, and we'll see if that doesn't take care of it. Otherwise, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Hey, Darlene, Joel, Jeff, glad you're all here. It's been there's Dave. It's been a pretty good week here at the shop trying to get stuff done. Obviously the last couple videos. Hey, Jasper Dragon. The Akron 1972. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. But the last couple videos have been, about the cross member for the Brooklyn Pony, and the next video will be the cross member video, and I'm sure people are going to want to see that, give them some ideas. I don't know. I've shared pictures of the progress on Facebook, and there were comments that I should patent the design, and I don't know how to do all that stuff. I mean, I know there's a process to it, and it costs money to do it, and it gets complicated. But I'm not sure how else I can, show what I'm doing. And if somebody wants to copy it, I guess they'll copy it. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Okay, Jerry. Well, like I said, you can try to send me just the emails themselves, or one video per email. See if it'll send. I'm not sure how else to do it, because I've tried to use that WinRAR program to download the videos, and it's just not working. I even deleted the WinRAR from the computer, tried it again, and still not working. So, but I want to get your videos out there. I want to show people your Mustang. So we got to figure this out. Thomas Yaksich. I'm doing good. Glad you're here. Well, Jerry, if you wanted to do that, we could do it that way. I mean, well, let's try the email first. Just try it. See what happens. See if it works. Otherwise, I know you said the car's painted now. At least I think it's what you said. The car's painted now. So if you were going to do it with the thumb drive, maybe add the painted section as well, so we could have the whole sequence there. If you want to do that, we can figure that out. The Akron dual master cylinder 65 Mustang 4-wheel drum brakes. Four-wheel drum brakes with a dual master cylinder? That's kind of odd. Usually drum brakes just have a single bowl master cylinder. Usually. But unless that's been like an aftermarket install or something like that, I'm not sure why they would do that. Let me see if I can take care of this. I don't want to have other interruptions as I go forward, so I have to sign out of Facebook, because it'll keep trying to update things. But anyway, yeah, I'm not sure why you would have a dual master cylinder on a 65 Mustang with drum brakes. Let me see where we're at. Now, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If you want to be on the live stream, send me an email, joedaddysgarage@gmail.com, and I'll send you an invite, and we'll go from there. But as I was saying, I've been taking my time making this cross member for the Brooklyn Pony project. As I've said before, those cross members that I have from CPC, they won't even fit the car. Even if you didn't have the transmission in, they wouldn't fit the car. Okay. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, so the question is whether to use a single or a dual. Well, if it's a standard drum brake car, I mean, they had a single ball master cylinder, unless there was some variation that I'm not overly familiar with, but you should just be a single ball master cylinder because it's really simple. You know, it's kind of like I did that video on the 65 Impala, single ball master cylinder pushing out to all 4 brakes at the same time. So you should be okay with that. Very lucky to call me Jeff. Only my mother calls me Jeffrey. Well, I go with what I see. You know, it's kind of like, but I get it. But now I have 2 Jeffs. So I don't know how to make you Jeff 1, Jeff 2. I don't know. Guido's here. Want to upgrade to dual resolving master cylinder? Dual. I'm guessing that was a mistype. Whatever. I don't know what that dual. Okay. Let's see. Jeff, I should have time to catch the start of this. I've listened to your intro driving between Barking and Whitechapel, East London. Well, I don't know where that's at, but I'll give you a bell for following along on your drive. Anyway, as I was saying, I've been working on that cross member, and I posted pictures of it on the Facebook page. I haven't put any on Instagram yet, but for those of you, the 25 people that are watching right now, what a thing of beauty that is, huh? Check that out. Fully welded now. All the seams are welded. This is going to get shortened up. This is too long. But I always make things, I tell people, make things oversized and trim down. You don't want to try to get the exact fit on the first shot, because if you're short, you're going to have to go back and start over. But anyway, so this is the new and improved cross member for the 4R70W conversion into the Brooklyn Pony convertible. Now, there still may be, I'm going to add probably a little bit of material yet, because just because it doesn't need it. I know how I am. I'm going to put a little gusset right here. Again, not needed. I could put a gusset here, but I know it's not needed there, because that's not going anywhere. Same way here, all this isn't going anywhere because it's double welded to the square tubing. And you know, just for appearance, I think more than anything, I'll put that gusset on either end. Now, I will point out too, this is kind of, you'll probably see in a video, this is not square. And by square, I mean it's not square to the flange, because well, first of all, the welded in cross member piece that's in the car, it's not square. It actually has a taper to it as it goes up to the flange area that welds to the floor. And then not only that, but the lower section where you would overlap with, you know, this part, it's kind of tilted. So it's a little goofy. And then on the transmission itself, if you look at the transmission mount relative to even the pan that is on the transmission. So if you got I'm doing this backwards. So if this is the pan facing, you know, this is the back of the car, the transmission mount, if the pan is level, the mount is kind of tilted. I think it's tilted like that, just slightly. So whenever I was putting all this together, I had to make all those adjustments to make it look, close. But if you look at the lines, it's not, this isn't perfectly square this direction. And even that one is just a little bit off. But this is going to fix it. And the nice part about this is this fits the car and fits the transmission. And it comes back out. Now, I did see a video, and I will make one little claim here, that somebody had posted on my last transmission video that the cross member for the PCP or CPC product, whatever, that it's not, and I apologize for not knowing that there's a difference between the AOD transmission and the 4R70W, and apparently that difference is 3/4 of an inch. So, if that's the case, then it's possible, with some modifications, obviously, that CPC cross member would fit. However, it doesn't fit the car. Even I've shown the pictures, the bolt holes don't fit the structure of the car anyway. And then whenever I try to put everything in place, it would hit the tranny pan and all that stuff. This is going to clear everything. And I'm seeing some questions. Let me back up a little bit. Hold on a second. I want to go back to the Akron. Hold on. Terry Baptist is here from Florida. The Akron. Okay, you're looking at, if you have drum brakes, 4-wheel drum brakes on a 65, it should just be a single bowl master cylinder. If you looked it up online to order one, it would probably just come up with a single 65, a single bowl. Now, I don't know. I see you posted something about somebody said to use a 67. I don't know if that's going to work or not. The differences between a dual bowl and a single bowl is the design is to apply pressure to, say, a disc brake car, apply pressure to, should go to the front wheels first and then to the back. It kind of has a little bit of an offset. Whereas a drum brake car, single bowl, it's going to all 4 wheels at the same time. So just think of it that way. If you have drum brakes, you kind of want all 4 of them to work at the same time. Yep. Thank you, Guido. Jack is here. Good. Jeff, in my 2001, I don't know what you lost me. There's a bunch of numbers and you lost me there. Thank you, Jasper. Thank you, Dragon. Randy from Iowa, glad you're here. Clark, how did you determine the right height? Well, I had some comparative measurements. And by that, I had contacted Harvey, and Harvey gave me some drop measurements for the one that he was using. So we could figure out from the bolt holes down to the plate where the height was. I also, kind of positioned the transmission in the car so that everything is level on the bottom. Like the pan is level with the front cross member. Everything is nice and clean. And then, of course, the engine is sitting level. So all those things kind of came into play. Well, when I made this, I actually made it with a gap. What I mean is I didn't have the mount sitting on here. I had another layer of this sitting on top. The reason I did that was I did not want to make this super tight and not be able to adjust anything later. At this point, it's only a little over 1/8 of an inch. Maybe it's 1/8 of an inch, but it's still just a little bit of adjustment that I can let the transmission or the tail shaft come down just a little bit. But it's all within, that much of being dead on where it's supposed to be. And if I have to, I can put the shim on top. I'll make a shim plate can sit there and hold it in the exact position it's in, or I can take that shim plate out and let it drop just a hair. So that's basically what I did. Yep. Thank you, Harvey. Jeff, you should name the video for that brace yourself. Or crossed up, cross off. something with cross member, something. Thank you, Darlene. Yeah, I agree. I'm happy with it. You know, I haven't decided yet, Guido, if I'm going to rattle can it. It's very likely, just because it's probably easier to handle it with the rattle can paint than trying to get it powder coated, because, well, powder coating is a good thing. You still can have, you know, minor issues, and I think it'll be fine with paint. Of course, I'll clean everything up, you know, smooth it up a little more here and there, and before I do anything. Okay, if anybody has any more advice for the Akron 1972 about the master cylinder, by all means, share something. Chloe, would you consider welding the nuts on the front side of the bracket to simplify the assembly? Well, I guess it could be an option. At this point, the only difficulty I have is the length of the bolts, because the bolts that I could find are technically a little too long, and I'll have to add washers. So it would be hard to weld a nut on, and I really don't. I'm not against doing that, but there's nothing in the way, you know, to put it together. But I guess my fear is if something were to happen to something happened, the nut got damaged or whatever, now you're backtracking and you got to cut that off, start over. I just kind of like it, keep it as simple as I can. Yeah, fully concentrated on the cross member. Well, I'll probably, you know, I may try to make a template. I don't know yet. I may try to make a template. You know, and I don't know why nobody has come up with this design, or not that I've seen, because the beauty of this, the real beauty of this, is with this 1-inch square tubing, you can drop the tranny pan without taking the cross member out. So if you need to do something to the transmission, you don't have to take the cross member out. All that other junk that's out there, you got to take it apart. This one, tranny pan sits here, you know, and there's enough bolt, you can put a socket in there, get all that stuff out of the way. It just takes some dummy to come up with a better design, right? Terry, well, being that there's no exhaust yet on the car, I'm pretty confident that it's going to, because it actually takes up less space than some of the other stuff. Well, in fact, let me just look at something while we're talking about it. While we're talking about it, if I were to do a comparison between example A and example B, it's almost, well, it is less. Yeah. If I line up the plates, let me turn that around. Let's see if I can do this another way. If I stack the plates, well, let me see if I can. This is kind of hard to do with the camera, but that'd hurt my wrist. If I were to line these up and plane these out, mine is a lot less, takes up a lot less space than the other one, because this thing, the tube goes below everything, where mine, the bracket, is the lowest point on the whole thing. So you can kind of get an idea how much difference there is. Who knew? Anyway, if somebody wants to start producing these, I'll put my name on them and we can sell them, right? Clark, what's the investment time and materials? Well, that's a really good question, because the difficulty with that is my time. I did a lot of experimenting, a lot of, you know, mocking and test fitting and hand building of pieces, trimming, you know, So all that adds up really fast. But if somebody else were to just follow my template, materials, well, you need less than 2 feet of square tubing. You need a 4x4 or less piece of, I think this was 180 thousandths thick. And then you need like some 2-inch wide by, what is it, 120 thousandths? I don't remember what the numbers are. I had it all written down. I mean, material wise, even if you bought the material from like Home Depot or something, I mean, they're not going to sell you a short chunk of this. I don't know. 2 feet of square tubing is like $4 maybe. I wouldn't say there's material wise less than $20 for what's here. Now time, I spent some time, several probably days, test fitting, welding, tacking, taking apart, test fitting, welding, readjusting, until I got it to where it would just actually fit the car. So I don't have a number to give you, but I had a lot of time in designing it, put it that way. There you go, Akron. Jerry says he'll send you a single bowl off of 66. Resto Alcy, goo morning. Must be early. He's having a goo morning. Jeff 2 to Jeff 1. I wish I'd thought of your brace remark. Don't you need room for the exhaust pipe? Yes, and they'll go under this. Yeah, because even with like I said, even with the other one, I mean, and you got to remember this configuration with the convertible, the exhaust has to come back and then kick up and go into the transmission tunnel. It can't go underneath the car. Well, it could, but it's going to be really bad. But the design is to go up inside the tranny tunnel, follow it back, and then flare back out. So, because all the steering, I mean the boxes and all the extra TCI suspension parts, you're not going to get exhaust. It would be dragging on the ground practically. But I don't see any reason why this shouldn't clear everything. Call it Barry's happy with his member. Barry, strictly speaking, it's a tail housing rather than the tail shaft. Well, yeah. If you want to get technical, yeah, I'll go with that. Thank you, Denny. Yeah, John, the real beauty is that it actually works. That's 100% accurate. Randy, looks like plenty of room for the exhaust and the cutouts. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be any cutouts on this car. But anyway, I'm just happy to have this where I can put it in the car. Now, it still needs cleaned up. There's still rough edges. And like I said, I'll put those, put some gussets in just for my own satisfaction. And there may be a little bit of trimming that will have to take place because, these clear, and I will say I had to, on the passenger side, there was a big chunk of aluminum sticking out, threaded port for something, like a bolt-on accessory or whatever. I had to trim that down. And that was regardless of which one I tried to fit in. So I had to trim that down. But I may end up doing a little bit of customizing on this edge down here just to give it a little bit more clearance. There's just, the way this thing is built, it's got bosses sticking out all over it. So anyway, I'll probably do some fine tuning on the brackets themselves. Otherwise, everything else fits. Terry Bapp, it's a nice transmission crossmember, but it needs some real world durability testing. No, I can tell you this: you couldn't break that if you tried. The bulk of the weight is at the engine mounts when you think about it, and it has those rigid engine mounts. So the mass is supported by the engine mounts. When you go back, what were we going to say? Tail housing, tail cone, tail housing. Where that is, you have to think of it kind of on a, let's say a fulcrum, So if you had all the weight at the front, you'd have to have certain amounts of support, and as you move back, it changes the weight. You know how that works. But this design, all it's there to do is support the back of the transmission and keep it from going up and down. And it would, seriously, you'd have to, if I ran over this with my truck, it wouldn't get out of shape. But there's no doubt this is plenty strong. Let's see, Marshall, do you know what the driveline angle is with that? I put a T56 in my 65 this past weekend, and it's at a little less than 5 degrees. Rear end is at 2 degrees, too much difference. I don't know what numbers they should be. I'll just put it that way. I know that with this TCI setup, you can degree the differential because of the way it's designed. There's what's the word? Not Panhard bars. I guess they are Panhard bars. There's 2 of them that run parallel or beside the center section of the differential where the yoke is, and so you can actually change the angle by shortening and lengthening those bars. But I don't know what the exact numbers need to be. I'm sure somebody has some information to share on that. Phil Miller's checking in. Ricard's checking in. Darlene, R&D costs are usually rolled in future production costs for companies. You already did all the hard work. Even with the crazy cost in Alaska, that piece will probably cost me $50, $50 to $60 to make. Yeah, it's not like it's some exotic material. It's some tough stuff. But even at that, if they're selling the other stuff, the other brand for $152, figure I've got, like I said, $20 in the thing. Now, if I wanted to have, because here's a thought that I had, and not that I'll do it, I don't have time for it. What I thought about doing was taking and just making the lower section, just making the piece with the 1-inch square tubing, but make it so that these pieces, the end pieces, instead of this dimension, they're longer. Okay. Because my thought was if I had these, I could make these pretty quick. And if I were to just sell this part, you'd have to make this part. But this could be already pre-made, and then you trim it down to fit your car. So if you have a different transmission, and then of course the same way with the plate, you could almost make it to where you have to do some assembly work. I don't know. I want to count on making these and having it, being 100%. This is going to fit perfect because you look at that other one that's made by machines. The tubing is bent and all that stuff, and it doesn't fit the car. I'm more confident, obviously, in mine, but I was just trying to think of ways. Otherwise, somebody had suggested I make a PDF, and if somebody wants plans, they could send me $10 for the plans or something like that. That might be possible. I don't know. Yeah, lifetime warranty would be the easy way to solve that. You're right. Let's see here. Terry, what is the weather like where you are? It is smoking hot. It is, well, I was just outside, and it's like 90-something degrees and humid. Yeah, it's 90, 91. Very humid. I went for a run this morning. I did a 5K. Actually, I did 3.2 miles instead of 3.1, and I was right at 30 minutes. Whoo, I was sweating. That was tough. That was a tough run. But if I stop running, I don't like the idea. I want to keep on moving. Rick is here, and Resto Alcy, Barry's Custom Parts. Yeah, would it be? I don't know. It'd have to be related to, you know, Joe Daddy's junk. Something to where I could have my own brand, right? You know, and it all started basically by making a template. As with anything, you know, and I pointed this out in the video that I'll be making, and I'm hoping the video goes over well, because sometimes it's really hard to relate the ins and outs and hows and whys to do things. But from the start, you know, you make a template, and then you start working your way out from there and resolve the issues as they arise. But that's what I, you know, when I was welding this up this morning, as frustrated as I've been with certain parts of that car and fighting with certain things, whenever I fire up the welder, you know, and I can just take, even though it's only like maybe 5 or 10 minutes of welding, but I can, you know, just burn in some really nice thick welds and just makes, I know it's, you know, not going anywhere, but that just, welding makes me happy. Welding things makes me happy. So that's where I'm at with that. Let me think here. What else is going on? That's been it. That's been the focus of what I've, you know, what I've been doing this, well, I started on it last week, but Phil, I agree. Sell the plans. Don't involve yourself in other people's welding liabilities. That's a good point, Phil. That's a good point. So let me ask you that. If I drew up a set of plans and I said, hey, it's, you know, $10, was that reasonable? I don't know. I don't know how people, what they charge for stuff like that. But, you know, I don't know how people handle that, because there's things that I've made in the past that I probably should have pursued more. Like if you go back to the 1970 Mustang Fastback that I did years ago at the shop, and I built a custom throttle bracket for it. I've had so many people ask me if I sell those, you know, whatever. And when I made it, it was one of those things where I just made it. You know, I don't, generally when I build something, I just make it. I don't think about the going forward and writing stuff down. I figure out the problem, I solve the problem, and then I move on. And I really don't, you know, and I guess I should be more proactive with that process. But anyway, Terry, it's been hot and humid, raining with thunder, lightning, weather where you're at. Yeah. Well, we've been getting lots of some really big thunder boomers. I mean, we've been having lightning strikes close to the property here, and man, it's been shaking the house and shaking the shop. But every day it seems like there's, you know, more and more storms coming through. Cliff, instead of aiming a top end like everyone else, just make cheap stuff that works. The Chinese Asian stuff will dry up soon. Oh yeah, that's true. Well, it's possible. I don't know. Dragon gave me a Y. I guess that's a yes. Dave. Hey, Paul was here with Jack and I for a bit, but we had to go back to sanding the burb. I think Paul has an illness. He's just going to keep on sanding on that Suburban until there's nothing left. Clark, one guy would buy the plans and throw them up on the internet. Yeah, but see, I don't know how else to handle that. I don't know what the idea is. I hate to say it, but again, you're right. Somebody could just post it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the best answer is for that, because, you know, it would be nice to be able to make them, but it would be more than likely I would just put up plans and yeah, something to think about and not think about. Again, I just build stuff and go. It's typically how I operate. Karsten is here. Glad you're here. But yeah, I've built other stuff before. In fact, I've designed things that have actually later gone into full production that I never followed through. There's something that I designed it, gosh, over 15 years ago now, maybe longer than that. I designed a, well, I think they call it a helping hand that you put in the back of a truck in the receiver hitch. So when you open a tailgate, if you have a short bed truck, you can add this arm. It's made out of 2-inch square tubing, and it comes back and then has a brace that goes up and then a crossover that matches the height of your tailgate. So if you have longer lumber, you can extend the bed. They call them bed extenders or helping hands. I drew it all up and I called it the piggyback. I didn't really think about what I could call it, but I called it the piggyback. And I drew it all up and basically just let it sit in a drawer. And then it was like 6 years later, maybe 5-6 years later, that was like one of the hottest items in that year in the Popular Mechanics magazine. That was like the top 10 items available on the market. And I was like, are you kidding me? And it was the exact same, almost exactly what I drew up is what they built and sold in mass. So yeah. Paul, hey, I like sanding. Yeah. I'm sure you do. Randy, patent it, that way they can't put it on the internet, but that takes some time to get done too. Yeah, that's the hard part. I don't have time, man. I don't know. I need like a whole team of support to get everything done that I want to get done. Resto, I do a lot of fabrication work here in Queensland. Make 2 and a few accelerator brackets to put them on Facebook, Insta, and your store online. See how it goes. Nothing to lose, right? Well, yeah, but except my time. That's the difficulty. I have things to build. I have things to do, and I just don't have time. That's the hard part. More than anything, it's just time. Bob Knoll is here. First time. Well, you get a bell for being here for the first time. Marshall, copyright your intellectual property, but then you'd have to sue someone that did copy it, and that might not be worth the aggravation. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. If I was some huge corporation where I could fund these type of things, that's different. But being one guy in one little shop in the middle of, Georgia, it just doesn't work out very well. Are you getting royalties? No, I never processed it. I never did anything with it. I just drew up the plans and put it in the toolbox and let it sit. And then somebody else came up with the same idea, like I said, 5, 6, 7 years later, and I missed out. So, and I'll probably miss out on this cross member thing too, because I don't know how. Again, I'd have to have a lot more support to get that thing, up and running in a certain way. But anyway, Darlene, 10 to 15 is totally doable. Yeah, I mean I agree. I think I've seen. I know that was a big thing where you could pay for access to a PDF or something, and I guess the one alternative. And I hate to even think this way because I've said it before. I don't want to force people into buying something or whatever. But I do know that with the Patreon market, you can create videos that are specific that you can put on Patreon that you can't access unless you're a patron. So that might be an option too. So that might be an option. Yeah. I don't know. Terry Baptist, someone else must have the same idea as your invention. Yeah, they did. That's what happened. Jasper, maybe make a video with instructions and directions and make it private and send the link once they buy it. That way you would always stay in control. Just an idea. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. If the private video, because I have some, you know, like on my other, I have other places where I have unlisted videos, and I think I have the private, but I'm not sure how that works. Because, you know, if I sent the link to somebody and then they just shared that link, I don't know if they can do that or not. So that would be something else. I don't know. All kinds of things to think about. All I know is I have things to do, you know, and I'll probably just make the video and people can just copy it. I don't know. It would be nice to have some other company contact me and say, hey, we want to buy the rights to your design. You know, okay, I get $10 per product. I don't know. I'm a worker bee, you know. I like to do the work, build things, do things. When it comes to all the paperwork and, you know, all that stuff, just not my thing. I'd rather be out here burning welds and cutting stuff up and different stuff. Clark, how would you even copyright that? There's nothing proprietary or specific to yours. You're right, there's not. But there could be dimensions that I could write down to the, you know, you wouldn't say copyright, but you can write down the dimensions, you know, say, hey, this will work for your car, but you have to do this, this, and this. I don't know. Jerry, contact Scott Drake. They may have an interest in your cross member. And that's a thought. You know, I think I've said it before. I did a restoration on a 69 Stingray for a buddy of mine. And I made a custom cross member for that car too, because if you're familiar with Corvettes, the automatic cars have a removable cross member and the 4-speed cars do not. They made it rigid all the way through. And so when I did this conversion, even though it was a 4-speed car, converting it to a Tremac 5-speed, it still had to have, the cross member had to be removable. And I designed it or redesigned it. And when I took the Corvette to a professional Corvette shop to have an alignment done, they were dumbfounded when they saw the cross member. They're like, how did you do that? And I said, well, I just solved the problem. And they were real quick to say, people have been trying to do that for years and nobody had come up with a good idea. And they said, you solved it. And I was like, well, now what? You know, now what do I do? But anyway. Yeah, Clark, you know, and by doing that, you know, money here, money there. Again, my time is limited onto a lot of this stuff. Yeah, Darlene, maybe I'll have to do that. That's not a bad idea. John, I'll change subject. Did you happen to see them? The Ken Miles? Yeah, I saw they sold it for like 3.8 million or something like that. Yeah, that was a lot of money, but somebody's gonna. I hope I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but I'm glad they got the money out of it. Cool car. Okay, so Cliff says Scott Drake. Yeah, maybe I should. I don't know how to contact them, but maybe I should. Terry, it was a C3 Corvette. The car was a 69 Stingray that my buddy had. And everything I researched on it said the automatic cars, had a removable cross member, and the stick shift cars had a welded in cross member because they wanted that car. They wanted the 4-speed cars more rigid. So, but anyway, and maybe somebody's already copied or seen my design and copied it. I don't know. But it was It was my own unique process that I used on that Corvette. I have pictures of it somewhere. It was before I was making videos, and so I have pictures of that. It worked out really cool. Karsten, a cross member for a 67, 68 AOD. That is what you have on. That I have on my car. It looks like it is factory made. It is nice. Huh. Good. Yes, chrome bumpers and all. Yep. Yeah, that car was a 60, like I said, a 69 Stingray. And what do they call it? I don't know, ZL1 or something. Whatever the performance one was. 427, 4-speed. Had the tach drive tachometer, or the gear drive tachometer in it. I know that it was like the high-end version. And somebody had, the original engine was gone, the original transmission was gone, and it had a 327 in it at one time, and then my my buddy got a hold of it, and he had a 427 built for it, and there was a 4-speed in it, but he wanted the Tremec. So that was an interesting car to work on. You know, Corvettes are different. Just put it that way. They're different. One of the hardest parts, I think, was setting up if you picture a Corvette has, you know, a rigid differential in the back, and then it has basically drive shafts that pivot. So it's like a car with a modern front-wheel drive car has CV axles, but the Corvette had little drive shafts, like short little drive shafts, and so those bolted into like a yoke assembly on the what would be the axle. And I still have all the tools for this, and it's a pain, because when you have, your axle is only that long, so you got the wheel, hub, and an axle that is that long. So to set up the bearings, it was a complicated ordeal to make that work. But I did get it together, and I still have all the tools. I'll probably never use them again. Well, yeah, you could buy one and make it wall art and say, this is a Joe Daddy's Garage original piece. 68 saying, hello, just ordered my first parts for my saying, just to find out that half of it is on back order. Yeah, sorry, Reese. That's what I was saying before. If you want to buy parts, you better get them ordered, because you're going to be sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And that's how it is until things change. Drake Automotive Group, Scott Drake. So you're saying that's who I need to contact? That would probably be the easiest thing. Just let them copy it and give me a percentage or whatever, and send it on its merry way. Thomas, I get more satisfaction in custom making parts if I can. Yeah, and for the most part, it's fun to do that sort of stuff, to solve the problem, to think through the process. But it's a little more difficult in this case, ducking under a car and trying not to hit your head on everything that's sticking out, going in and out, and in and out, and in and out, up and down. It's just really, really tough to try to enjoy that part of it. But when it comes down to, whoops, that was an accidental bell. I was reaching for a pen. Discount that bell. Doesn't. I'll give that bell to Jerry. Yeah, for the Drake Automotive Group, Scott Drake. I'm going to write that down. Yeah, I do have a bump cap too, Jerry, by the way. But I tend to forget that I have that bump cap. I'm just writing that down. Okay. Whoops. Terry, this is before Chevy had to redesign the front and rear bumpers for certification. Yeah. Yeah, it had a little bumperettes. the little short, wrapped around the corner. That's all it had. You think about it. The Corvette had bumpers, right? Bumpers. They were just bolted to the fiberglass. They weren't even attached to the frame. They were just bolted to the fiberglass body. Darlene took like 6 to 8 weeks to get my parts. Was so frustrating having to wait when I was excited to get started. Yeah, I know the feeling. That's been kind of the norm lately, working on this car. But yeah, negligent bell discharge. Yeah, misfire. Yeah, in fact, you said bump cap. I've got one right here. I just forget to grab it, but it's in my line of sight. It's easy to see. But what I did do, I tend to take little, like when I salvage the foam pieces from, like when I buy a car hood or a fender, all the corner foam pieces, I save all those. And so when I'm working on something I'm going to get under there, I may try to find the corners and put that foam up there, because I'd rather bump into that foam than have a sharp angle go into my head. I've had enough head injuries, I guess, over the years. Oh man. Okay, so we're at 36, 37. So nobody has responded yet to getting on the live stream here. It's at the bottom if you want to get on and talk about something. JoeDaddy'sGarage@gmail.com. We'll get you on here. And I know we've been waiting for several from Europe to jump in, but nobody has done it yet. Yeah, that's something else we were talking about when you're talking about the Corvettes. And I don't know if this is something I'm going to do or not. I was contacted by somebody about a Corvette they wanted me to look at, and I don't know if I'm going to look at it or not. The difficulty is having time to take on other stuff, and that may or may, I don't know. They were just asking for me to look at it, I guess, to try to figure out if it was worth working on or different things. So maybe, if I have time, I'll go look at it. But there's always something for me to be involved in. I know that. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, so Terry, do you have any favorite movies? I have a lot of favorite movies. Some oddball movies, but when I think favorite movies, one of the first thing that comes to mind is The Matrix. I just like the whole concept of the Matrix movie. Of course, you can go back to Cannonball Run, any of the fun movies with Burt Reynolds, Smokey and the Bandit, all that stuff. But I like sci-fi movies, different things like that. And if anybody has seen or can remember seeing WW and the Dixie Dance Kings, I'll give you a bell if you remember that movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember it because I was a kid when I saw it, and I thought it was a pretty cool movie. Another Burt Reynolds movie. But, there's the original Eleanor, the original Gone in 60 Seconds. I like that movie. The one that Nicolas Cage did, I don't care for. But that's just me. So, yeah, car movies, sci-fi movies. Karsten, I have an AOD on the car, but I don't know if it takes the last gear. I only feel 3 shift. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that. I can't help you with that one. I wish I could. But if you're feeling 3 shifts, that should be 4 movements, right? So you got first, and then 3 shifts would be fourth, or your overdrive. Am I wrong? So you got first, shift, 2, 3, 4. Wouldn't that be push you into overdrive? Clark lifts used to be made so you could have an extra 6 to 12 inch same price. Well, this one actually does have. I still have about 6 inches left. The only hard part with that is you get it too high, and then you can't see what you're doing. You know, you need to have it within an eye shot so you can see the alignments and stuff like that. So if I'm way up here, then I can't see the angles. So I kind of keep it a little bit low so that I can still get a look at it. Britain is no longer part of Europe. No longer part of Europe. I don't know how you pull Britain out of Europe. 68 Stang, I don't know. I haven't heard from Footage Factory. I don't know what happened. I've been checking on his channel, but I don't know what's happened. He hasn't informed me of my winnings. Put it that way. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. So wherever Steve is from Footage Factory, calling you out, man. Clark, if you sell to Scott Drake, just make sure they actually try to sell your stuff rather than sit on the design so they can bump you out of the market. Well, yeah, that's good thing to think about. Bob, I've been playing with the waiting game with my parts. My 60 Mustang seems to have everything I want until I go to do it. Yeah, that's pretty common anymore. Yeah, Matrix movie. When the Matrix movie came out, it was incredible. I mean, and to this day, if it comes on, I'm sitting around watching. I'll click. Oh, Matrix, click. I just start watching it. My wife's like, "Why do you keep watching this movie?" I said, "I don't know. Maybe I want it to be real. I don't know." Yeah, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. Yes. You know, and then you got different movies like Vanishing Point. You know, if you're not familiar with that one, that was an interesting movie. And that was around the same time with Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. Kind of similar concept, actually. And you go back to all and I'm going to default to Burt Reynolds movies like Gator. You know, if you remember Gator. There was all kinds of movies they were making all in that same time period. It was like they were all from Louisiana or something. But all those old car movies are fun to watch. And of course, you know, I won't say the ultimate car movie, but you probably won't see more cars. Well, obviously you'll see more cars, let's say, but it's a mad world. If you ever saw that, where they're racing cross country and all kinds of different cars trying to get to a place where they dig up a treasure. That's a pretty cool movie. If you haven't seen that one, that was made in like the late 60s, early 70s. So it's a mad world. And there's some great actors in that movie, great cars. Pretty cool to see all that stuff. Bob, no, yes, I do. And they played the head of the driving as a second movie over and over. I guess I got lost on there somewhere, Bob. Oh, okay. They played the. Sorry, I'm a little confused by that one. Bullet best car chase ever in 2 cool cars. Yeah, I can. I mean, for its time, I'll say yes to that. I like the bullet chase scenes and all that stuff. What I don't like is how they screwed up so often with, like, you look at the green Volkswagen Beetle. It's in like every other shot, the same car over and over and over and over and over and over. And it's like, well, why did you not think about this? You know, or the Charger loses like 8 hubcaps. You know, stuff like that is what gets me crazy. And then of course, the Bullet Mustang, I think it had like an 8-speed transmission in it because every time they were on Steve McQueen in that car, it was shift gears again, shift again, shift again, shift again. You know, just what it seemed like. But it was really cool to see the cars get pushed around hard driving in the streets like that. But Let's see. Kirsten, yes, you're right. So yeah, maybe it is doing its job. Thomas, I believe that is. I think that's the right answer. The In WW and the Dixie Dance Kings, the storyline was about a black and a gold. I think it was a '55 Oldsmobile, and it was a unique car, one of only whatever made, and so that was the movie. And I haven't seen it in a long time, but I need to see it again. Yeah, it's hard to beat Hooper. That was a fun movie. It really is hard to beat Hooper. Again, he made so many cool car movies, and people forget about that. Old Crony's Garage is here. Dragon, is there a place that sells a roof of a '68 coupe, or are they the only options to scalp another car? I don't know for sure if they sell. I know they were selling the roof or roof panels for the '65 and 6, and I don't know for sure if they're doing anything for the '68. So if somebody has some information on that, maybe they can share that with us. Terry Baptist, do you remember Vanishing Point? Yeah, that's what I was mentioning earlier. That was interesting movie. Or patch repairs. Yeah, I don't know if they sell patch panels for the '68 or not. Bob Knoll, that movie was Mad Mad World. It was like '67, I want to say. Yeah, it was, like I said, late '60s, early '70s. So we'll share a bell for that. It really, and it was a fun movie. It was back then whenever it wasn't all super violence and blood and gore. And, even like I'm watching whatever on TV, and you see a preview come up, and there's the preview is showing somebody like getting their head cut off. And you're like, wait a minute, how is this even on TV? You go back to these old cool movies where they were driving, doing stuff, but it was at the movie. I don't get how we've lost some of that in the course of life. Barry, I'm going to stick up for my fellow countryman Peter Yates, who directed Bullet. Well, yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the direction. It was just some of the details they overemphasized, or to me, it just didn't quite meet the standard. Let's say, I think any kind of movie that has cool cars in it, or even like war movies or whatever, you need to hire somebody who is a car person, a hardcore car person, or a military person, or the same with doctor movies. You need to have people who understand the terms, because there's people that watch these movies and they'll take some of it as reality. And I think it would have been so much better with Bullet if they had. And again, I know they were limited. I know they had problems like even blocking off the streets or whatever. But there should be somebody going, hey, wait a minute, we need to do this, change this a little bit, bring in a different Beetle, the green Beetle. That Beetle was so, the cars that were on there were so fast, but that Beetle was faster because it had to get ahead of them to get in the scenes. Remember that. That little Beetle was like a bullet. It was a bullet, but it would get ahead of those cars on the chase scenes, and then they'd pass him again. And he'd, oh, no, you don't. Pew! They'd pass him again. Yeah. Cleaning up your Dodge Ram, that's a good thing. Bob, that movie always accompanied to a movie that was a B movie. Yeah. I saw the movie Duel with the Semi. I'm not familiar with that one. Yeah, new movies are screwed up. Yeah, Jeff, that's why they hired Yates. He made Robbery the year before. Well, I get it. But you got to have those. The director needs to have assistants. He needs to have people that are saying, "Hey, wait, come on. Why is this car shifting every time you put the camera on the guy? They're flying down a road doing 80 miles an hour, and he's grabbing another gear. It's like, wait a minute, where did he get another gear from? Um, Marshall, I've read before they had to retard the timing on the Dodge and Bullet for McQueen's Mustang to keep up with it. Um, uh, that may be possible. That may be possible. I don't know. I think the Dodge, I think it had a 440 in it. So you can run the math and know that a 440 is going to have more horsepower than a, 302, or I don't even know what was. I don't remember what was actually in the Bullet, but the Dodge probably had a good bit more power. Darlene, I'm a lab tech married to a pharmacy tech. We both roll our eyes at medical dumb stuff in movies. My mom's a nurse. My sister's an occupational therapist. So I grew up around some of the stuff. My wife used to do transcribing for doctors, and even she'll watch something and she's like, she didn't have a medical background. She just knows from what she typed and kind of absorbed information. She's like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. But Jeff, I think the exactness of your day job is creeping in here. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's everything. It's like when I watch a movie where they have mortars, okay, and they fire the mortar World War II movie, dropping a shell, and literally it makes a sound effect like boop, bloop, whatever. That thing, I mean, it's a cannon. It's a cannon. It's a portable cannon, and it's like a big firecracker going off, and it's not. I mean, it is. That's why I have hearing loss, because of firing the mortars. So, Dave, you need to see Duel, a Plymouth Slant 6 being chased by a haunted semi. Also, Spielberg's first movie. Okay, well, I'll give a shout out for Duel. I have not seen that. Harvey is saying it was a 390 with a top loader. Yes, it came to mind after I said that. I realized it was a 390, but thank you, Harvey. Staybit, you never seen the movie Duel with Dennis Weaver? Not that I remember. Now, that sounds like a movie from the 70s, but I don't remember. I remember Dennis Weaver, the actor, and I may have seen it, but the name doesn't pop into my head. So probably if I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, sorry. It's almost like you ever heard of the movie Killdozer? That movie scared the tar out of me when I was a kid. Yeah, if you ever seen Killdozer, that movie scared me so bad. I mean, I was a kid when I saw it, but the idea that a bulldozer is running around just crushing people, that was pretty bizarre. Thomas, how about the original Gone in 60 Seconds movie, car chases? Yes. Well, see, that's what I said. I really like the original Gone in 60 Seconds, not the new version. I don't like that one. I like the original. There, and you can go back and research that car. They built that car basically on a NASCAR chassis, is what they did. At the time period, it was built like a NASCAR race car, and that's why it was able to handle a good bit of that stuff. Because we all know the '73 Mustang would not have held up with the beating that car took. But it's pretty cool that they got it to stay together. Terry, the movie's about demon-possessed semi-tractor gasoline tanker trying to kill old Dodge or Ford or sometime. Okay. I'll have to look it up, see if I can find it. Maybe it's on YouTube. My wife is a midwife and she likes Bullet. Well, yeah, I mean, I like the movie. Don't get me wrong. I like the movie. But, it's another one. Here's an odd movie for you. You've probably seen it. If you go jump from Burt Reynolds to Clint Eastwood, right? Clint Eastwood made a bunch of cop movies. Burt Reynolds made a bunch of car movies, comedies, whatever. And then, Clint Eastwood. Remember the movie Gauntlet? That was a crazy movie with Clint Eastwood. Gauntlet. Driving that bus. Yeah. Yeah, Clark, that's what I was. I was 11 Charlie, 81 millimeters. Fired hundreds and hundreds of rounds out of that thing. And that's, again, what I don't hear. I was a gunner. So, Jeff, Barry not knowing the film Duel just about sums him up. Was that a good thing or a bad thing? What are you trying to say? What year was Duel put out? Somebody has to tell me now. What year did Duel come out? That's the first thing. What year was Duel made? Probably 70 something. So you'd have to let me know when it was made, and then we can go back in time and say, well, I was 4, you know. The movie Rubber, so funny. Okay, I'm not sure I've seen that one. Yeah, Dave, nobody said Days of Thunder yet. Terrible movie based on a small events that actually happened. Yes. Yeah, it was, I won't say it was a terrible movie for the time period that they made it. It was probably okay. You know, it was kind of like the car version of some ways of Top Gun or whatever. I don't know. But so, I mean, Days of Thunder is enjoyable to watch. But you're right. It's not the best movie made. But yeah. Maximum Overdrive. I'll give you 3 bells for that because AC/DC performs in that or their music is in it, and I'm an AC/DC guy, so. Staybit, we're the same age. You would remember Duel scarred the snot on me when I was a kid, huh? Well, wait a minute. 68 Sang says that movie was made in 71. 71. So I would have been 4. That's why I don't remember it. Because very unlikely I would have had a chance to see it. You know, I grew up in an area where we had, 2.5 TV channels. That was about it. So I'll look it up. Maybe that's the homework. Everybody has to see Duel, and we'll start doing a movie club where we bring up a movie, then everybody has to watch it, and then the next week we talk about the movie and just get a review on that. That sounds like a good idea. Mad Morgan, 19 Delta. You have to refresh me. I don't know what 19 Delta is. Yeah, I remember Speed. That was okay. It was okay. And then they made Speed 2, Speed 3, Speed 27. Let's see. Jeff, I'm not letting go of your being pernickety. I think it's persnickety. I think there's an S in there. If you're going to use big words, you got to spell them right. I think it's persnickety, isn't it? I'm thinking about shifting to Nick's garage. I told you I like the movie Bullet. Just I'm a details guy. Mad Morgan, The Wraith. I remember that movie. I do remember Wraith. Christine, of course. I do remember that. Mad Morgan, don't say FFE to the mortars. They have their own language. Oh, okay. Another Eastwood car movie, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. Lots of cars, including a flathead 50 Merc put through its paces. Good call, Dave. That's a good call. You watched the rerun of what? I didn't. The rerun. Are we talking about Duel? No, I've never seen it. Oh, Cab Scout. Okay, well, I'll give you a bell for being a Cab Scout. Christine's a really good movie too. Yes, Reese. Again, not the best made movie, but a good movie. I will say that. Darlene, we totally do that. Everyone can talk about Duel next week. Death Race? Yeah. Now you're talking about the original Death Race, though, Terry. You're talking about the original with David Carradine, right? And all the crazy George Barris looking cars, whatever they had. Yep, The Car. Good movie. I'll go for that. Burt Reynolds did a series around 71. His car 70 Mach 1 was built by Carcraft for Ford Big Buck 102 made. I think it was partially for promo. Did a series? What was that, Harvey? Was it like a movie series or a TV series? Because I would like to see that. Mad Morning. Oh, okay, mini tankers. Dan August. Huh. Interesting. Cannonball Run. Yep. Yeah. Original Death Race. That was crazy. That was a really crazy movie, and nobody can argue that. That was a really crazy movie, Death Race. 68 Stang. Has anyone seen Race with the Devil? No. Haven't heard of that one. Yeah, Death Race 2000. Exactly. Yep. Saw the Wraith. And there's so Harvey said he just found that it was well, I missed it. Where'd it go? He said the name of it. Dan August. So Dan August is the name of the series, and it was made for TV, and he just found it on YouTube recently, a few months ago. Huh. Yeah, that Wraith car, they talked about that. I forget who made that. I think they found it somewhere too, and somebody was like trying to fix it up. It had like been abandoned or something, and they were trying to get it back on the road or something. I don't remember. It was like some sort of Dodge. Clark. Okay. And then, Ford versus Ferrari. I will ring the bell for that one. Whenever I was at SEMA last year, I got to see that as a premiere. Like, I don't know how long it was, like a week before they actually released it. And then later on, my wife and I went to see it at the theater. And even she liked it, which is surprising. For a car movie, she liked it. Very good movie. Oh, wait a minute. So let me see if I can. Jerry sent me hold on. Jerry, I'm going to send you a link, and all you need is your phone. You can do a live stream with your phone, and so that'll pop you up, and then you just follow the process, and it can pull you up on and do it on here. That's what Harvey did last week with his phone, or I don't know, maybe it was Monday. Phil Miller, Herbie the Love Bug. Yeah, that was a fun movie. That was a fun movie. Well, the Wraith car wasn't based on a Fiero chassis. No, it was not. Trying to remember what it was on. It was like a Dodge Challenger, like the little Daytona. I think. I don't remember. It was, but it was not a Fiero. Dazed and Confused. Never saw that movie. Didn't sound very interesting to me. But I understand there were some cool cars in there. Just rewatched the original Gone in 60 Seconds. Yeah, and it's on YouTube, actually. You can watch it on YouTube. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. Dave, Charlie Sheen, and Wraith were just on Leno a month or two ago. Really? That would be interesting. I know that Charlie Sheen said he hated that movie. I know he was very upfront about that. He just hated that movie. And I don't know if he's come around to appreciate it more, but I know he hated that movie. He thought that was like one of the worst movies he'd ever made. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Okay, I'll let that go. Yeah, I think Dodge called it the Interceptor. Yeah, it was something. I don't remember exactly. Brian just got here. I was driving my first legal car in 78. Just got here. I was driving my first legal car in 78. 69 Mach 1. I'll give you a bell for that. Yeah, legal car. I didn't start driving legally till 85, but I've actually driven on the roads since I was like 13. Of course, growing up in small town Pennsylvania where there was nothing but back roads everywhere, nobody really paid attention. Mad Morgan Wraith car, Dodge M4S. Is that M4S or M45? I'm guessing M4S. Concept car, turbo interceptor. Yeah, Dodge M4S. So that was the only, that like, and like I said, I think they built that car or used that car, and then it got shuffled around, and then they finally put it back together. I remember I was reading something about that they had problems with the car. I don't remember what all they had going on, but we're going to give Jerry a few minutes to see if he can get on and be part of the live stream. Otherwise, if not, I'll probably close this up in 8 minutes. So it's been fun talking about movie cars and movies. And the thing is, when we think about it, for the most part, most of us are here in the U.S. and we default to American movies. But if you go back into into Europe and stuff, that was one of them was the Italian Job, one of the original. I know it was made in Europe, but the Italian Job. Maybe we can get, where'd he go? Maybe we get Jeff in here to talk about some cars from the that were made in movies, car movies that were made in Europe. Because I know the Italian Job was one of them. It had a lot of interesting car chase scenes, and even if you go the Bourne series, Bourne Identity, the first one, he's driving that little, I don't know what it was, a Mini Cooper, jumping all over the place, driving all through the streets and going crazy with it. So pretty cool stunts in those movies as well. Mad Morgan M4S, 800 horsepower from 2.2 liters, 0 to 60 in just over 4 seconds. That's pretty crazy. Dodge using M4S to break the 200 mile per hour speed barrier. Wow. Cool. Good information. Brian, we had a strip job. We had strip job cars. My dad's cars all got about 4 miles per gallon. Yeah. Yep. Jasper, I like Gran Torino too. Also, Eastwood movie with him in it. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you a bell for that. Yep. Clark, any James Bond car? Yeah. Yeah. If you go back, and what was it? The Live and Let Die. I think they did that jump in like Louisiana where they did the spiral. They took that car and looped it through the spiral jump, which was pretty cool. Yeah, can't forget about Christine. Yep. Where did Jeff go? Jeff Reynolds. You're supposed to be helping me out here with some of these European cars, European movies. So I know, like I said, there was that Italian Job, and I'm sure there's other movies that were made in that same time period were car chase movies. Dukes of Hazzard, yeah, they destroyed a lot of Mopars for that TV series. Well, maybe Jeff left. Maybe he left. Have I heard of the Piranha movie car from the Spy movie? No. Are you talking? Oh, yeah, The Spy Who Loved Me. You're talking about the underwater car? I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to. Mad Max. Yeah. Actually, the Road Warrior got Mad Max and the Road Warrior. Those were awesome movie stunt movies. Wait a minute. Darlene, my brother's name is Herbie, so I always loved Herbie the Love Bug. Yep, I could see that. You should see the Taxi movies made in France. Bit of a comedy. Oh, there you go. See, there's one with a European twist on it. Yeah, Dave, the original Bullet movie with the Bullet Nose Studebaker, original Muppet movie, sorry, with the Bullet Nose Studebaker. Yep. Marshall, Baby Driver had some good car chase scenes. Yes, it did. Oh, sorry, Terry. Then I don't know which Piranha movie from the spy. I don't know what that car is. So did Jeff really leave? Come on, Jeff. Where did he go? Because I know. All right. So he must have left. Ducked out of us. Anyway. All right. So I don't know if Jerry figured out the invite that I sent him or not. So like I said, I'll give it a few more minutes and then we'll have to go. Yeah, there's I mean, and we're all connected to these car movies. Like the John Wick movies. Granted, they destroyed some Mach 1s. But would it be the same movie if you were driving a random Toyota Camry? You know what I mean? Not the same one. Okay, so it looks like Jerry has figured out the phone here. Let me see if he can get situated. I've got him on a little preview down below, so he's going to get himself set up here in just a second. I know he's kind of moving around at the moment. So let me see if I can get Jerry on here. We'll talk to him. And there's Jerry. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Oh, doing good. Doing good.
Yep. Well, I'm not sure what you're seeing for me, but here's a kind of a sad side view of the car after it was painted.
Okay.
And right now I'm installing the headliner. And that's kind of been a process that's kind of made me stop and scratch my head.
Yeah.
No hair.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let me show you a little bit about the car.
Okay. Well, currently what I see your face.
Okay.
So I don't know. I know we went through this with Harvey. You may have to just turn the phone around and just point it. There you go. That works.
Okay. So this car is a 1966 Mustang Coupe. It was built in Dearborn, Michigan. It's serial number 512315, and it was sold or it was shipped to Kansas City, Kansas, and sold to a lady that had just lost her husband. And from that point, I don't know where the car went or what happened to it, but it wound up in Moberly, Missouri, which is where I found it. And so it's original inline six engine. The engine's in here right now. I've done just a little bit of upgrade to it, but it's going to get a lot more upgrades in the future. And so I'm not sure where else to go here yet. But
well, I was looking at your suspension up front there. You've got the it looks like a unique. Well, up on top of your strut towers, your shock towers. What is that set up with that brake?
Well, this is and I don't remember the manufacturer, but I changed out the front end suspension to a ASRS aftermarket suspension that's built in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And then, as you can see, this booster and the dual or
Master cylinder.
master cylinder. Um, that's from Scott Drake.
Okay.
And in order to make this thing work, the original X braces or the export braces that were in it would not clear me being able to take off the cover.
Okay.
So I found this on Scott Pony, and they make they make two varieties of this. One is with the export brace, and one is with the Monte Carlo brace, which I didn't buy. And anyway, it's adjustable with the adjustable knurls here
Mm-hmm.
and Heim joints.
Yep.
And so I put that in, and what I think happened when I put this in, it was adjustable. Then that actually allowed me to, let me step back here so I don't fall, take the suspension and get the tires almost in alignment, so that I can actually drive it.
Okay.
The second thing I did here was I put headers on it.
Oh.
It's inline six, and based on the shows I've gone to, I'm going to stay with the inline six,
Okay.
simply because it's unique.
Yeah.
And I mean, you see 283 or 289s and 302s and everything else, but you don't see many inline sixes. And when you see the inline sixes, they're stock.
Right.
So the first thing I had to do was replace this alternator because I had a phantom current that was because of a shorted winding. So I bought this alternator, and you can see here I've kind of made this temporary brace here so I can adjust this thing out to get clearance off this header tube.
Okay.
For heat. It's got a 1967 or later 3-speed fully synchronized transmission in it, and that was the first year Ford came out with those.
Okay.
So I can show you a little bit about. I've started the header.
Yeah.
The front's kind of done.
Yep.
And right now, I didn't think about the insulation going into the tail panels. So I ordered insulation today. So I'm on a 2-day hold before I finish up the rest of the headliner, because I kind of want to insulate that for noise
Sure.
and heat. You can kind of look in here. The steering wheel is going to get upgraded. It's going to get a brand new interior with high back seats, so that you have the safety factor of, in case you're rear-ended or for whiplash. And then here, I'll kind of fold this up and show you what I've done in the trunk panel. And so when I got this car, I didn't know anything about rebuilding cars, which is probably a pretty common story. Here you can see there was some deterioration and stuff like that.
Right.
And so I cut these panels out rather than replacing the whole wheelhouse, and I welded those back in.
Okay.
And then the floor panels have been replaced, both here and inside the cab. New gas tank. And so this is kind of what it looks like after I painted it.
Looks good.
Well, from being a self-critic, I'm not happy with the paint job.
Okay.
But as I talk to painters that do this all the time, they tell me that I'm probably too self-critical.
Well, from what I see on the phone, it looks good. I mean, I might look at it differently if I was there in person, but
yeah. But anyway, that's the car. I just ordered, based on our video or your live streams, I just ordered $3,000 worth of parts, wheels, and other body things that I needed,
Yeah.
interior stuff, and I still have to order the seats and the stuff like that, because I'm going to replace those versus trying to rebuild them.
Sure.
I mean, you can see here
Yep.
Of the problems. You can also see all of the panels that I've replaced inside,
Yeah.
and so I kept the tunnel in because that was the only piece of the car that wasn't rusted out.
Yep.
And then, so what I did was I tack weld or spot welded some of the stuff, as you can see in the black area here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I solid welded some of the stuff you can see in the area that's got overspray on it. But underneath the car, I completely welded everything solid,
Okay.
and then put seam sealer on it.
Nice. Looks good.
So, and I can tell you with 100% confidence that the only two things that I've not done myself is I hired a guy to help me cut down the rear end from a 1998 Ford Explorer to two
Okay.
19-inch axles.
Yeah.
And I hired him because he had the tools to do the alignment with. And that cost me $200. And then the only other thing that I've hired done was the original grill. I cleaned that up, and then I had a guy do powder coating on all the black that was on the original grill.
Okay.
So
Nice.
you know, I'm pretty happy so far. It's I started the build in probably September 2018, and with other activities you have to do as being a family,
Sure.
it just has kind of gotten into 2020.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
But anyway, I could show you one more thing that I'm working on if it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Well, I'm going to step in here. You're looking at a portable paint booth right now.
Yeah.
And this is the project that I purchased in January, which is a 2009 Shelby Cobra GT500
Wow.
with supercharger. It's producing, with the mods I've done to it, it's producing about 700 horsepower.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. It's fun to drive.
Yeah, I drive that.
Yeah. Well, I live in Columbia, Tennessee, just south of Nashville.
Yeah.
Maybe sometime we have to get together and you have to take a ride in it.
It's possible.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
And hey, I had one comment about your transmission brace.
Yeah.
And I didn't comment on this because of all the stuff that was coming in, but it's a very unique design. Well, actually, I did comment because I suggested Scott Drake.
Yeah.
Or Drake Automotive.
Right.
As a way to market that thing. But that is pretty clever. And
Thanks.
I really appreciate the information, because eventually this engine that's in the car now is going to get replaced to the original 1966 block, and it's going to get a little bit of machine work done to it. 0 mill the head or the block and take 65 off the head, and a 112-degree slope on the cam. And according to Clifford Performance out in California, they believe that I'll be able to build about 240 horsepower to 250 horsepower with about 300 foot-pounds of torque.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I still got to figure out how to get your videos
Well,
office
yeah,
computer.
I mean, we'll figure it out. Tonight. I'll send one video. I'll send the big video tonight,
Okay,
and then I'm not going to clog up the system with one after another.
right. We'll see if that works and then go from there.
Yep, sounds good, man.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll let
Well,
you guys go,
yeah,
and thanks for the ability to be on your show.
yeah, I like it. I'm glad you came on.
All right, man.
All right, we'll see you.
All right.
Bye. All right. Well, that was cool to see his project, and he's done a lot of work to it. I like it. I'm going to get caught up on a couple of things here. If you were following Randall Heath, we did the viewers project video on his Cougar, and apparently he got the first set of wheelhouses from Dynacorn that from West Coast Classic Cougars. They got the first 50 sets, and he got the first set from them. So Randall gets a bell for that, being the first. Hope everything goes smooth on that. Yep, nice, Jerry. Ricard saying nice car, Jerry. Okay, Piranha movie. And then Paul, what is your opinion on keeping four-wheel drum brakes on the 67 Mustang Fastback, or would you upgrade to disc brakes? Mine originally came with drums. That's a tough question. You know, it depends on what you're trying to go for. If you're going for a totally original car, you're going to want to keep the drums, in my opinion. But if you're doing some custom work to it, there's nothing wrong with putting disc brakes on it. Obviously, we're going to have people are going to all default typically to the disc brake setup, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, I would probably save all of the pieces that you took off if you convert it to disc. Save all the drums and stuff like that. Just keep it aside, and just so if you ever decide to sell the car, you can say it wasn't originally a drum brake car. Here are the parts that go with it, just because. Okay, I've gone well over time, but that's going to be it. So, if you've been watching all this time, I want to thank you for that. You know, if you would throw a thumbs up on the video, leave a comment, all that fun stuff. Again, I'll point out if you're buying anything from Amazon, load up your cart, go to my YouTube channel, and it'll be the banner, you know, up at the top of the screen. And there's a YouTube link somewhere in this zone on the banner. Click on that and then make your purchase, and it helps me out with a little tiny percentage of your purchase. Doesn't affect what you pay, and it just gives me a little kick. So other than that, I will be making this other video with the cross member and sharing information on that, and that's about it. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back again on Monday night at 7 o'clock. So see you then. Take care.